Good morning. The world is in shock. It was like when an old relative dies. You knew she was 90. Nonetheless, the death is disturbing. What we're talking about is the announcement of Standard & Poor's that it is downgrading America's credit rating. Now, Standard & Poor's is proceeding very cautiously. It's not actually downgrading the credit rating at this time. It's merely given its announcement that it is downgrading its analysis of the prospects for America's economic future. Ultimately, that means that at some point in the future, a year, 2 years, 3 years, the actual credit rating will be downgraded. But such an announcement could send shockwaves through financial markets. The stock market tumbled several hundred points on the announcement. President Obama was quick to announce that Standard & Poor's was acting in a political way. A big part of what Standard & Poor's had to say was that it was doubtful that the political process, Congress and the President, could work out a meaningful plan for reducing the $14 trillion in debt that the United States has. And given that, the ability of the United States to continue to borrow money had to be put in doubt. While it didn't lower the credit rating, it gave everyone who would possibly loan money to the United States a substantial warning that this might not be the most prudent thing to do, and fired a shot across the bow of Congress and the President, warning them that they had to get this nation's financial house in order, or the consequences would be severe. Frankly, America's treatment of the debt has been something like an addict's response to its drug of choice. The United States sort of believes that it can stop spending anytime it wanted to, but it just doesn't want to stop spending. It also believes that spending is harmless. I remind you that for the last 40, going on 50 years, the United States has been spending money it does not have, engaging in businesses without balancing its budget, playing tricks on the American people, and always reassuring itself that, that day, the day of financial judgment, will not come. Well, the trumpets are sounding, and it's apparent that that day of financial judgment may soon be at hand. Many forces are conspiring to do this. Frankly, we've talked already about the declining value of the American dollar and how the American dollar may lose its position as a reserve currency. There's also a problem with the concept of the petrodollar, that you have to buy petroleum in dollars. And there's the decreasing productivity of the United States and its increasing dependence on debt. As a nation, we have to bring this house in order. And we have to have a Congress and a President willing to do this. But yet, at this point, they are still divided. The President believes that he can continue to tax and spend his way out of debt, even though Keynes warned that in a recession, taxes were regressive, that they would stop an economy from growth. Even Keynes knew that. The President insists on taxing those he calls the rich. There isn't enough money among the rich to balance this budget. It's going to have to be balanced in only two ways. To actually have growth in the economy and not non-stimulating stimulus. And two, and more importantly right now, there's going to have to be a retrenchment in expenditures so that we can get the debt under control. Apparently, the sum of $4 trillion over 10 years is a number that both some Republicans and the President agreed to before the gamesmanship, when it turns out that the $4 trillion number is not really $4 trillion and it's not 10 years, it's 12 years. But here's the problem. The most important thing for America now, for all of us, whatever our place in the political spectrum, is to get that debt under control and to get this country's economy moving. Two things the current administration has not shown a particular knack for doing. If this is not done, the real day of financial atonement will come. and it will have devastating effect on each and every citizen. Remember, if America's credit rating falls, the government itself will have to pay a higher price to get money from foreigners to finance all the services that we're buying. But that will have a ripple effect through the economy because interest rates will go up for every activity in this country. And when that happens, you will see this economy, which is trying to recover, staggered again. And you will see the government, once again, play its favorite trick of inflating the money. How small can the dollar get? How many times can we do this? It's time to take some serious steps, and we all better be ready for the sacrifices that are to come.